Welcome to the LawyerFair.co.uk Daily Podcast. LawyerFair helps businesses find the right lawyer at the fairest price. But on this podcast, we just chew the fat with some great guests.
So welcome to the LawyerFair Daily Podcast. It's Andrew Weaver here, CEO of LawyerFair.co.uk. And I'm going to speak to two chaps today. It's a novel approach. We're going to have two interviewees. And they are related to the founder of and working for an app called Food Mama. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I'm excited about this conversation. First of all, if you are an entrepreneur, a startup, or someone thinking about it, these guys are going to give you a pretty interesting description of their own journey, literally from idea up to the verge of launch, I think, but they're going to explain more of that. But I tell you why I also like this app is because I am one of those sad guys who, when I go to Europe and can't quite understand the menu, I still order, without actually asking, and the pride stops me from asking because my wife opposite knows exactly what she's ordering. I don't, and I end up with an absolute bag of nonsense and normally inedible, some kind of Czech porridge or something. I don't know. So listen, this is a Food Mama app which is going to completely eliminate my issues with food ordering and pride. So welcome, Dean Boden and Adam. Adam, I haven't even asked you how to pronounce your surname, so I apologise. Adam.
It reads as easily as it looks. Dahrouge.
Dahrouge, how beautiful. That's a beautiful surname. Adam and Dean are going to explain lots more about Food Mama. Tell us where the idea came from.
Well, it really started 2 years ago. My parents came to visit. We went to a restaurant and I was sitting with them, and it turned out that I had to read the menu to my mom because the restaurant was just too dark, and she's 60, not old, but she can't read it in the dark. So I read it to her, and then my dad, he had a slight case of diabetes, so I had to. The restaurant was really busy, so it's really hard to pick out what kind of food he can eat. So we kind of need to guess, and it's really not good when you have a problem. And I'm vegetarian, so again, it's a problem here as well. And it's just, and I said to myself, wow, there must be a better way to show the menu. There must be, the print menu is something that, can upgrade, can help you more than what it does now. A few days later, I have a friend come over from Israel, and he doesn't read English as well. And again, a menu in English. I had to read it to him. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to try to see what's out there. And I found that there isn't a lot of option out there. If you have a digital menu, it's very basic, like text. And, it's very similar to what you have on the menu already. You don't do anything other than that. So I'm a designer. For the last 10 years, I've been working with a lot of big companies, from Lloyd to Barclay to Mark and Spencer and the list just go on and on. And I say, you know what? I pick up the gloves and try to do my best. And it turned out that I have some good ideas. And 2 years later, we have an app. And here's it.
And there it is. There it is. Well, it looks gorgeous. It's not particularly visible on this, but we will definitely will include a link to the website. And I've had a quick look at that this afternoon. So there you were with your idea. You thought this is gonna do it for me. I'm gonna go for it. So and you just set out on your own initially, did you?
Yeah, basically it was me, and then I joined by two other partners that in the end it didn't work out. And then I say, I want to continue and doing that because I really believe in the idea, even for my own use, and I do think that this is something that really can help people, and that's what I try to do. And then I joined with my current partner, Donnie, that is not here, and then Adam joined us, and now we're working full time to deliver this crazy idea that we want to help people pick their own food better on their own phone. So yeah, that's what we are doing now, full time.
Well, I'm definitely going to subscribe. So you've got one customer. That's a start, isn't it? And so Adam, I'm interested. You've come on board, and this guy's got this idea, and so you're having to break into the whole startup ecosystem. So just talk me through how you kind of got the thing going, moving forward.
Yeah, so when I came in, both Dean and Donnie, they built this app. The prototype was there. They were going through the alpha testing on it, and they got themselves up to the point where, they were kind of mature in the startup age. They didn't just have an idea. They didn't just have a proposition. They built a prototype. They created their business plan. They'd done their financial projections, and they created everything they needed, but they hadn't approached anybody with it yet. And that was really interesting to see something that's almost at late startup stage or early growth stage that hasn't broken out into the world yet. So I came on board to take everything that they've got, take this wonderful product and plug it into the startup ecosystem, which is something that anybody who's in startup realizes. There's a large ecosystem. There's groups, there's forums, there's VCs, there's angels, there's networks. It's a huge system to penetrate into, and there's a lot of areas to get into it. So from day one, I started looking at who the players were in the area. And I think the first thing that I had to start doing was really break open into a network, because the startup scene is all about who you know. Well, everything is done on almost an introduction basis. And you start from the ground floor, not knowing anybody, starting to meet other startups and other companies, and you work your way up through the help of other people, through other people's connections and networks. And it's really a gradual thing. And that might have actually been the hardest thing, is that the company being at the stage that it's already at, you want to press the go button and launch it straight away and be in a position where you're already talking to investors. But the problem is you need to do a bit of background work. You need to build to it. It's a slow process getting to know people, building trust and relationships. So it really came in with a big task kind of set in front to lift up this mammoth tech and throw it out into the world. And it all started with a lot of research. And we're 2 months in now. We've made some really good contacts, made some friends with other startups, and I could say we're just starting to penetrate that startup ecosystem. We're just starting to get our meetings into the calendar now.
And lucky enough, we already this week launching a brand new website, and we're launching the Android beta. So we're starting to be out there, and we tend to grow from here.
I think this is actually one of the crucial things for every startup, is to get the balance of everything right. You need to really leverage what you've got at the right time. So you don't want to be going out and making contacts with people when you haven't got much to show. Equally, you don't want to go out and try and sell a startup with everything that you've built that you've never tried and tested before. So one of the things I had to come in and start to implement was the idea, hey, let's go and test the pitch with people. Hey, let's go and show people our business plan and just ask for advice. No money yet. Get out there and see what people think of everything. And that very much informs the process of what you're building as well. You start to get feedback. You start to get insight. And when you start to get that feedback and insight, it begins to open new networks. And it's almost like the veil of a forest, the thick of the trees start to just open up once you start walking into it. And that's really where you can see where you can go with things.
Well, I think it's interesting. I mean, also, I think with the networking, is Adam kind of getting a budget for Silicon Drink About? Is that essentially what?
Pretty much.
Is that what he's pretty much doing? I think that's what that I think that's what it was all about.
I have a few very small investors helping us mostly on the development, finishing the developing side.
Yeah.
When you don't have a budget, you kind of do your best with nothing, and then you need to be creative, right? You need to do.
But no, the serious point I was going to, rather than pulling Adam's leg about his Friday night drinking habits, was actually, I think that going out into that kind of startup world and that network, the amount of learning you get, and it goes two ways, doesn't it? The amount of learning and I think that whole startup ecosystem, around Shoreditch and all other clusters around the country, frankly, it isn't just about, having a little bit of office space and, trying to find investors. It's actually a huge amount of cross-pollination that goes on in those environments.
Massively so. It's all about making friends, really. And I guess that's one of the upshots to the startup industry, is that it's not purely business focused. There's very much about relationship building. One of our really good leads recently came through another startup that I had a great chat with, another founder at a meeting. It was an open meeting for a bunch of startups and entrepreneurs, and I got chatting with this one guy, and we were both talking about our tech and the experience we'd had, and he managed to provide us a really great lead to an accelerator. It was the director of this quite famous accelerator, and that's now blossomed into a meeting in a week's time where we're going to be able to go and chat with this guy who pretty much runs one of the largest accelerators in the UK. And that came out of a chance meeting with these guys. And it's very much about that relationship building.
Well,
Go on. In the end of the day, we are in a really good place. We almost have a full swap of power out there. We almost finished the development. We have something that's really good, really interesting, and our feedback so far was really amazing. On the other hand, we still don't have the big shot investor, so we still have the control, and we coming to the point where we are looking to investor, where we have a working prototype. It's not just okay, we have an idea, something like that. No, we have a product. It's out there. We already start approaching a company to start sell. We even have a small number of clients, but we start to have that. And so yeah.
So just talk me through the timeline then, guys. So the website goes live this week.
Mm-hmm. The new website going live this week. The Android, I think, next weekend this weekend going live. We have the iPhone going in a month's time.
We're doing a corporate test environment with our kiosk in the next 2 weeks as well at a large corporate restaurant with about 1,500 users.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a big moment, isn't it? Getting it in there.
Yeah. So we basically, our product help the restaurant throughout any platform. So if the user, the customer phone, or if they have a screen, a kiosk screen where they show the menu on the restaurant floor, or if even on the website. And the idea is that if you change something to the restaurant, this can be creating a new menu, or even we round off of soup. So with the click of a button, you take it out, and it's automatically taken out from the customer phone, from your kiosk platform, from your website. You have a full control wherever you are from one interface.
So you don't any longer have waitresses running out going, "The turkey's off."
Never, no anymore.
It's not going to happen. It's history.
Updating. They can hide while they tell you.
That used to be my favourite role as a waiter. And the other thing I saw on the website as well is that there's an element where you're going to help businesses. You're going to help businesses promote themselves. I didn't quite get how's that going to work.
Well, we have two options. First of all, we have find the normal stuff where the restaurants are in the around you.
Okay.
That's what every app do. But we also have coupon that a restaurant can set on its own to promote stuff on the restaurant, as well as advertising and all of those stuff. But because we have the information to go not just the restaurant or the menu, but to the level of a dish. The restaurant can say, "Oh, we have amazing dish that a lot of people love. That is look amazing because we have a picture on a base system. So you can, if I'm hungry, I can go to this part of the site and see interesting dish all around you. So I say, find something that you want to eat by just seeing the food. This is amazing potential."
Or even, let's say you've just been away to Italy and you want some of that squid ink pasta, which can be quite difficult to find. You could type that in and it'll suddenly, type this hard dish to find that you don't think anywhere in London or wherever you are is going to necessarily serve it. Type it in and it'll bring up the restaurants that have that particular dish, which is another really fun.
Well, that's exciting because I struggled to find, my wife's parents are from Galicia, and I struggled to find a Galician dish that they were particularly interested in.
Yeah.
I wish there's so many reasons I should have had your app. And the other quick thing as well, which I think is a really important thing, is as well, you're able to break down the ingredients, and if people have allergies, etc., then it's again within the digital platform.
Consumers these days, there's an increasing desire to source food that's ethical, that's sustainable. And this is something that restaurants aren't always able to provide to people. You're not able to tell people the source of the food or the sustainability of the food. There was a really interesting example over in, I think it was California, of this sushi restaurant. And they printed tiny little QR codes on edible paper, which they put on the sushi itself, and users could scan the QR and find out about the sustainability of the fish. And it drove sales double-fold, an extra 100% of sales.
Wow.
They doubled immediately because people were generally more confident about the food that they were eating. And I think in the growing age of more ecological approaches, more sustainable living, this is an area that we're looking for, and we do it in our homes. We do it with the things that we buy from supermarkets, from local markets, from farmer markets, but it doesn't quite extend to restaurants yet, not in a ubiquitous way. And I think this gives restaurants that ability to do that. This gives them the ability to go, this is what's in our food, and this is where it came from. This is the journey of the food that we're going to serve to you.
And more than that, now it's a law in the EU that you have as a restaurant to give the customer full information about all the allergy in your food, all the ingredient that you have to give it. And nowadays, restaurants in the UK kind of keep that information, but it's stuck away.
It's usually on another menu that you have to request for.
Now on this app, you can see a full encyclopedia for all the dish ingredients. You can see more than, I think, 45 allergy and meat stuff, so we can really say, oh, I don't eat crab and I have a nut allergy or corn allergy, and it's a click of a button. You can see your what dish are relevant to you, what you can eat and what you can't eat. And you know what, if you come from as I said that my friend couldn't read the menu, a click of a button you can change the language of the whole menu from to Italian or
Look,
any other language.
Look, you're making me hungry, and I'm gonna have to go now. But listen, so it's foodmama.menu. Is that the website address?
That's the website.
Okay, right. Anybody watching this who wants to follow the journey, any restaurant that's watching this should be getting in touch with these guys. But also, it's going to be an amazing journey for you. You're on the cusp of something, I hope, very big. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And we'll keep in touch. That was the I even got away from Dean. Fantastic. That was the LawyerFair Daily Podcast. Thank you for watching or listening, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to the LawyerFair.co.uk Daily Podcast. If you'd like to listen to more, why not subscribe and download each episode via iTunes, or visit us on the LawyerFair.co.uk website.